G'day, welcome to Sharkcast Pod, a podcast dedicated to the greatest sporting club in the history of the world, the mighty Cronulla Sutherland Sharks. My name is Sam Shinazi, OG 2015, and this is March 2025, and the Sharks just lost 20 points to 6 to the Canterbury Bulldogs at Sharks Stadium. Believe it or not, I believe the Dogs players are still on the field celebrating. They're celebrating like it's grand final. Good luck to them. We couldn't match them in a lot of areas tonight, which sucks, but we're here to talk about it for a while. So if you want to get on board, please do. I know sometimes these images aren't flattering of me and everything, but I'm going to do the best I can here. So if you want to get involved, I'm going to leave a comment here if you want to jump on the stream. Sharks lose 20 points to 6. Very disappointing. The team looked pretty flat this week. I don't know if Vegas has finally caught up with them or not, but it certainly looked like they were a different team this week. They were down to a 15-man bench for at least half the game, if not longer. So we saw Cal Iro go off the field with what looked like a quad or something like that, and Sifa Talakai with a shoulder injury didn't come back. So we hope to goodness they're okay. But it was disappointing. Ghastly 10, thanks for joining, says, could that have been any worse? It could have been. They could have racked up a bigger score, but a lot of disappointing things tonight, that's for sure. I mean, I think the effort was there, but just the execution, and particularly they just looked so much fitter than us towards the end of the game. And the Sharks have been up for quite a while now, and there's no excuses here, but I am wondering if my friend Clifton Maynard's thoughts about Vegas have come back to get us right now, because the Sharks started okay. They were going set for set. They looked pretty good in the first probably 20 minutes, but then it just sort of fell away a bit, and it wasn't meant to be today, unfortunately. If you want to jump on the comments, you can put things up on I'll put things up on the screen for you. Keep it nice and clean. If you want to come on and have a chat, you can either have a video or audio, whatever you like. The link is there, and that's what's going on there. Sharks lose 20 points to 6. All right, Nathan says, bad loss. This will set us back. Yeah, I'd like to know more, Nathan, how you think it'll set us back moving forward. Are you talking about injuries? You're talking about attitude? Talking about, let me know some more details there. But, we went with them. They went with us, and they broke away in the second half. And the second half started pretty bad for us. Didn't get any better. A lot of disappointing, I guess, performances tonight, which we'll talk about. Here comes Daniel. He's not happy. I'm laughing because I'm not in your shoes, brother, although I did go to Vegas. But a good friend, Daniel, spent some money and time to come up here, and definitely didn't play good. I think that they were just outsmarted in a lot of ways. There was some tries down our right edge, which normally we would eat up for breakfast, and a couple were without Iro there, who was doing a great job, and he was probably one of our better players before he went off. But yeah, disappointing, Daniel. Sorry you had that experience, man. I mean, we know buyer beware, of course, but I am sorry that that's what happened. Scott says we did fall away indeed. Nathan's come back to me. Thank you very much. He said everything, injuries, attitude. Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Shake has got some big words. See this? One of the worst performances I can remember. Okay. I'm probably not in that category, but certainly not happy at all with that, Shake. A lot of errors from our kick defense, which is normally pretty safe. Ronnie had some howlers. Will Kennedy, who's been up for so long, he had not a great game. And although there were great moments from some of these guys as well, to be fair, Ronnie started really good and just didn't finish so good. I think Kennedy's in that category as well. I'm not here to put blame on all 17 guys, etc. But I'd love to hear what you guys think. Nathan says, home game, everything to play for. Yeah, and that's a great point, Nathan. Without two of their best players, I certainly wasn't smug about that during the week, but I was certainly happy they weren't playing. And I am a little bit surprised that the score blew out to 20-6. And it's disappointing. I think that's a word I'm going to keep using. And I think they need to bounce back against the Raiders with a short turnaround next week against Canberra. I think they can, but it's going to take an effort because they looked busted out there. No, they looked physically pretty torn and done. So hopefully it's a 1 week thing. Thank you everyone for writing in. Really appreciate all this. I'm solo, I should say. So no other guests tonight, unfortunately, for the audience, for me, but let's just have some fun while we're here. Won't be here all night, but having a good time here at the Sharks, despite the loss, thanks to the hospitality. Garcia says Dogs kick chase was epic. Yeah, so on those kicks by the Dogs, here's what they did smart as far as I could see, and I'm sure a lot of you guys and girls saw it as well. They kicked deep to Kennedy, and Stone Street and Ronaldo were still coming back on side, so Will couldn't do his trickery. He couldn't do that thing that he did last week so well. They kicked us really far, and we sort of warned everyone about that during the week, particularly with Sexton. And just looking at him, his stats here, if you bear with me, he kicked for 700 meters, so not quite the 1,000 that he got last week, but they won it maybe with their kicks because our back five was certainly not what they were last week. I don't want to miss any of these artists' comments, so if I do, I apologize. Scott says every time they tackled us, we went backwards. Every time we tackled them, they went forwards. Thought in the first half it wasn't so much like that. Second half, obviously, a lot more. Shake says the bounce of the ball probably cost us 3 potential tries. Yeah. Sometimes it goes your way, sometimes it doesn't. Our good friend Joe at Mr. Paisley is still up. He's going to be up serving me coffee tomorrow morning. And Joe, I'm going to need it. Large, long, black one sugar. I'm going to need it, brother. But Joe says pretty bad. Dogs look legit. Dogs did look legit. And I'll say this. We've been having a few ongoing battles with our Sharkcast text group and also just watching at the ground. What the Dogs did was really smart, really clever, really tough. It was nothing more. And I'm not talking them down. But the Sharks just didn't sort of go with them, and they couldn't score many points, and that's well done to the Dogs. But what the Dogs didn't attack, I mean, we had some bad one-on-one misses out there, and I just wasn't overly blown away by them. But I'm blown away by the fact that they came to our town and they did this to us. So full credit to them, and they did what they had to do. There was a lot of feeling in the game. I'm assuming that came across on Fox Sports and KO because there was a lot of feeling in the game, even to the last second where I think it was a sin bin. So as Roger says here, the Dogs frustrated the Sharks. Poor discipline cost us. The wet weather benefited the Bulldogs. Yeah, I agree with all that, Roger. That's very astute from you. Thank you. And the wet weather did help them. It slowed the game down. And in the first half, when you watch that game back, if you watch it back, I thought the Dogs they were doing nothing in attack. And I wasn't really worried at half time. I thought, a arm wrestle is not what we really want with these guys. And we didn't want that. And it proved costly. But as I said, from what they threw at us, I'm not overly impressed. I just think that they did it well. And they're top of the table for a reason. So no discredit to this Canterbury team. But I thought we were way off. Way off. Shake says, got to get some of these performances out of our game if we're fair dinkum about winning a comp. Yeah, I agree. I mean, you saw for Blake at the end his frustration. That's 2 weeks in a row he's given away a penalty and attack. And, it didn't cost anything in the end, but just can't be doing that, So just things like that are, as you said, need to be out of the game. NS says, long season, I think will be sweet, but that's a dog shit loss. Yeah, I agree. I think, such hype on this game in round 4 already, and we didn't live up to it today. So that's really disappointing. Nathan, I'm not going to have this one up long. Thanks, man. Appreciate you. Now, this is a good one from Brett. He said the dog smaller forwards ran rings around our pack. So let's look at what the Sharkies did out there as far as meters and those kind of things go. So Fanua Blake ran for 166. Kufusi didn't run for too much at all. 27 meters I've got. I hope that's an error from my boys at Fox. Britt Nicara, 67 meters. Teague Wilton, 100 meters. McInnes, 100 meters. The bench, not much. Toby was good in his short stint. And I can hear in the background the Dogs fans yelling out, hey, hey, goodbye, which is a real sucker punch. Don't appreciate that. They're not singing it to me. They don't know I'm here, but they're singing it to someone. I'll tell you what, the Dogs like to have a good fun. Ghastly says, Missione. Yeah, we did. But you know what? I thought Stone Street, with his run meters, what did he get? 128. I thought Stone Street ran a lot more direct and wasn't getting bashed as much. And I thought Stone Street continues to improve in what he's doing. So, yes, we missed Sione, but I thought that Stone Street got some good hit-ups in there. Now, this is a good one from a man, Joe. I'm not just saying this so he makes my coffee better tomorrow. The line dropouts. He's saying it cost us 8 points, which I believe him. For a bunch of the dropouts, I was saying to Kieran next to me, I said, go long and defend from 30 out. And it's not I told you so, because you guys know I hate that line. But I think that Joe's right. Don't do it every time. We do have guys who jump well, but yeah. Our friend Nikki says, hard to watch, will bounce back. Sherry must be loving it. I tell you what, he is loving it. He did a little shush for the second try, which no one appreciated. But, it was a dream homecoming for him. And I'm just going to jump over here, and I can see some Instagram people's. Kevin says, we always struggle when teams rush up on us. Yeah, that's a good point. Kapowie says, painful, bro. Very painful. Hopefully we get to see young Chris Vela next week and not Atco in the centers tonight, which is the flat, poor night. I think it's a really good way to surmise it, Kapowie 16. It was a flat, poor night. I completely agree with that. Chris Vela's a good young fella with a lot of talent. I'm not sure what's going to happen with Iro. It didn't look horrible, but I'm not a doctor, and also he didn't come back on. So I thought Iro was one of our best out there tonight when he was on the field until he went off. I thought he was great. So hopefully he's back. But Vela's always hanging around, pushing his claim with some really good lower grade performances. Sharks lose 20 points to 6. Disappointing loss. Scott says, is it a worry our second halves are nowhere near our first? I'll say this. We start really strong. Like I said to Kieran tonight, this is how we've started every game, going set for set. We're going set for set. We're getting dominant ruck play and, scoring a try and other tries almost being scored. So maybe there is a fade out there happening. I'm not sure. I think tonight overall, as the person before just said, it was a flat, poor night. And I think that even with that start, it doesn't take away from my overall impression tonight that they just look pretty tired and flat. So maybe the Dogs were more up for it in the sense they were physically ready and more up for it, or they hadn't had to travel around the world, whatever excuse you want to look for, but they were definitely a lot more energetic. Dogs played very simple footy, played into it without errors. The one running out was the one out running. Yeah, I thought for a team that's been attacking so well this year, we didn't do so well today. So need to improve on that. Daniel says, worst game of experience going to the game. Sinner smashed. I'm sorry, man. I'm not laughing. It's disappointing. You had a long drive back to Canberra. Take care. And try and get out to the game next week if you can. I don't know what your circumstances are, but no, wrong Daniel. Different Daniel. Here's Daniel. Yeah, I'm not one to talk about refs, but he didn't impress me tonight. I'll say that. So, some performance review straight from the upper ET to you. Will Kennedy, easily his least impressive game tonight. There were some nice moments here or there, which I like, and he will be a whipping boy in the forums and online and in our inbox, sharkcastpod@gmail.com. But he needs to improve on tonight. He did get bashed a lot too. I don't know if he's fit this week or if he's fit right now in the sheds, but Sam Sternstreet I thought was a big improvement on last week, and just some really good hit ups. And I'm not saying he was perfect by any means, but Jesse Ramey in 150th game, effort was there, but just a lot of execution issues and just not a happy game for Jesse. I thought Kale was really great. As I said, close to my best. Did a lot while he was out there. Ronnie started really good, didn't finish so good. I'm a little worried about the kick defense in the sense that there's not a lot of communication going on from what I can tell. I could be completely wrong, but it looks like when the short kicks go up to either side, there's just guys that are jumping up, and I don't know if they have a real hope of getting it sometimes, that they still go for it. I'm not sure what I prefer there. The halves, Trindle and Hines. So Hines had the better stats, 2 line break assists, 1 try assist. Trindle kicked for 100 more meters than Nico, but Nico still did a lot of kicks. They're both pretty busy, but they obviously didn't dominate too well. And I thought maybe Trindle was more involved. Nico was doing a lot of stuff off the ball. If you weren't at the game, you might not have seen that on TV, but Nico was doing a lot of direction off the ball. Work in progress, but certainly not their best week. Fanua Blake, pretty strong all round, but he's just got to cut out some of that silly stuff. But I'm so glad he's in our team. Blake Island, I actually thought he was pretty good. Won't surprise you guys and girls, but I thought he was pretty good tonight. I thought he was trying really hard to, get the refs on our side and get them offside, which he did, and they just wouldn't blow the whistle. So bad luck for Brelly there. Oren Kafusi, stats aren't amazing, but I thought his first hit out was solid. Second half, I didn't really notice him. He played a bit longer, I think. I thought Britt was solid. He had a couple of moments he'd want back, but I think he made up for it. Cam was Cam. We know what he can do. Dan Atkinson in the centers, he had that bad one-on-one miss. But he's probably not a center, to be fair. But, you can't be missing those tackles. That was disappointing. Talakai injured. Didn't get to do a lot from the bench. Tuku didn't get a lot of time out there, and when he did, he was okay. He was solid, so no missed tackles, average 10 meters a run. I thought Toby Rudolph was really good. Toby came back for the first time in a long time, and even with a possible head injury, which wasn't that bad, came back. I thought he was really strong, so he can be really proud of his effort. I'll get back to a few more comments. Scott says the Pennies and Dogs pulled apart our defense fairly easily. Cows and Rabbits didn't pressure us. Bit of work to do in our D. Yeah, I agree. I think for me though tonight, Scott, when you watch it back, and I'm not suggesting you need to, but when I watch it back, what I'm going to see is what I saw live is that they were easy reads. Like they 9 out of 10 times they'll make those tackles. They won't make those errors. So they did tonight, and that counts. It costs, like it sucks. But I don't know if the actual defense of the team is the problem. It might just be individual errors. This is a great question from Brett. How did Marnie stay on the field? He had a couple of really nasty incidents. We know he likes to play pretty dirty, and they thrive off that stuff. And I thought for a minute when that all went down towards the end, when we were still in the game, it would work our way. I think it was 14-6 still, but it just didn't, unfortunately. And they got what they wanted, and he got what he wanted, and they were carrying on at the end like it was a grand final win. And to the winners go the spoils. But it was just like, come on, guys, like, why are you going to be that way? Is that the only way you're going to win games? If it is, good luck to you. Go do it. But yeah, seems like a massive jerk on the field. Shake says we got out muscled, which is a bit of a worry. Yeah, but don't forget we're playing with 15 men. Like we had a 2-man bench, so there was not a lot of respite there, and teams still win that way, but we didn't tonight. So I'm not really worried about that. Daniel's come back to me. Apologies, Dan. I had the wrong Daniel. Season ticket holder. Yep, I appreciate that. And yes, it wasn't a fun night, my friend. Luke said, not sure if it's been mentioned, we played a team that hasn't left Sydney and has only played bottom 8 teams. So that's interesting, Luke. That's interesting. So I get the bit about Sydney that they're fresh. That's what I meant. They look really fresh. And we look fresh to start with, and then it just kind of fizzled out really bad. So I'm not 100% sure that's what the problem was, but it kind of helped. And we're not going to use that excuse every week because we're just not. But this week, maybe that'll be it. Oh, well, it caught up with us. But they're on the road to Canberra on Thursday, short turnaround. And they go to Perth. So they better not make it an excuse, because this excuse will be going on for like a few months. And I don't think they will. Like, I'm not suggesting they will. But as fans and as people who talk about the Sharks, I think that, I think that we can't use that as an excuse. But thanks for pointing that out. Only played bottom 8 teams. Well, that means they're going pretty good, because they played us tonight, and we think we're a top 4 team, and they beat us fair and square. So Isaac says, and thank you for writing, Isaac, did the Dogs expose errors tonight that could make us vulnerable from going all the way? Possibly. I'm not sitting here worried about the rest of the season. I'm worried about tonight and where it went wrong and how we can fix that. But I'm not sure. Let me know what areas you think that might be the issue. Alex said, I thought Kennedy ran to the side, number of kick runs, which limited. Yes, he didn't run straight. You're saying he ran that way. The kick chase was unbelievable. He didn't have any support most of the time. And so not here to defend Will, but maybe that's why. Maybe that, I don't know. He's not the biggest dude. But yeah, maybe you're right. Thank you, Alex. And he also says, he should run it straight. But yep, appreciate that. Roger said, I thought our D was okay with only 15 players for 80 minutes. Well, not for 80 minutes, but yes, I hear what you're saying. For probably 60 minutes. We'll have to work out the time, but I understand what you're saying. You understand what I'm saying. Yeah, probably a different team, like a Melbourne or a Penrith, would have probably blown us away, maybe, because we were pretty much on the ropes there. And I'm glad that it didn't get any worse. But 14-point loss at home, never good. Thanks, Roger. Appreciate it. Ghastly says, any chance Chris Failer gets a chance if Iro is out? Great question. Fitzy's around somewhere. He's not going to come talk to me now, I can tell you that. But I don't really know is my answer. My gut says probably not. I think that they might try something else. They might stick with an Atco. If Siffer is fit, they might go with Siffer. But I'm not saying no. I'm just saying I don't know. And at this point, I think that they might not. But he's impressing everyone. So there's a couple of guys. probably more than a couple of guys. The Jets won today. The flag team won. So the club's going good. Just a bit of a hiccup tonight, which sucks big time. But yeah, hopefully Chris gets a chance at some point for really good reasons and gets out there and impresses everyone because he's been really good since he came to the club a little while ago. Sharks lose 20 points to 6. Let me hop over here for a sec. Okay, I got some more comments over here. Jacob says Toby ran well on return. I completely agree, Jacob. And he said the boys didn't do enough to control the game. And I think I agree with that too. I think that we could have done more to control that game. Maybe the halves could have done better. Kevin says, I'm worried for Iro. They said it was a hamstring. Okay, well, they would know more than me, that's for sure, because I was up in the Andrew Ettinghausen stand where I am now. But I hope not. Like I was saying to Kieran tonight that he's really quickly becoming one of my favorite Sharks, current Sharks. So that aside, I would love to say he's going to play next week. Euro's just been so impressive. Shake says, do the refs hate Blake? He gets the markers offside all the time and never gets a penalty. You can't hate Blake. He's impossible to hate. On the field, off the field, the man is just a legend. I thought the refereeing tonight wasn't great. I'm not going down that avenue. I'm not going down that road, but I will say that I didn't think it was fantastic from sitting high above the ground or reasonably high. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. The big bro's on. Where is he? One for the future, but Michael Gabriel looked solid for the Jets. Yeah, he's going well, Davey boy. He's going well. There's a number of guys down there who are doing well, and it's impressive. The roster they have in the 3 grades, there's a lot to like there. So maybe are you suggesting he might get a go if Euro's out? I don't know. Brett says there was a set in the first half where the backs had no help for about 3 tackles. Yes. I noticed that a couple of times, and I always think to myself, where are the forwards? I agree with you. They look gassed, and I don't know why. So I'm happy to blame it on travel. I don't think the club will do that. I'm 99% sure, and maybe you guys have seen the presser already, but Fitzy won't go down that road. But something happened tonight because they looked good for a while. They went set for set, as I said. They kicked all right. Like they looked up, and there was a couple of blown opportunities, and then the Dogs just hung in there. And then when it was that grind, I thought, I don't think we're up for a grind tonight, which sucks. Joe the barista says, short week Sam gets fit. There's a lot to sort out for the game in Canberra. Well, I think he does, Joe, from a playing point of view as far as the injuries go. We need to assess the injuries and then work out what the heck you're going to do. Canberra will cover that extensively throughout the week, but it is a short turnaround, and he might need to tinker a bit if there are injuries, because it is that short turnaround is not good for injuries. So getting messages all over the place from you lovely people. See you in the morning, Joe, if I don't talk to you again tonight, but please keep firing them in if you want. Shake says, thank God we're playing Thursday. I don't want to sit in this game for a full week. Yeah. Sitting on it tonight was long enough. It was bad enough. It went for ages. The second half was just like, oh my God, there's still like 15 minutes to go. Canberra, I think, are coming off a bad loss, aren't they? They lost to the Cowboys, so they'll be fired up at home, and we've got a really good record down there and a good record against them. So hopefully we can get them, but I guess it's one day at a time until Thursday. So Sharks lose 20 points to 6. Oh man, let's look at some of these stats before we get out of here. So they had more possession. So they completed at 83. We completed at 77. I'm confident in saying that was our worst completion this year. Worst completion this year. They had 6 line breaks to 3. They had 3 more offloads. They ran for about 100 more. We missed 30 tackles, which might be the most as well that we've missed this year. So definitely not our best game, obviously. 15 errors to 9 for us. So the stats aren't too kind either. So there's a lot to work on, a lot to improve. Nikki says, AFB disappointed in the face palm. Yeah, I agree completely, but I don't think it cost us anything. And the interesting thing is, Nikki, it's at least 2 weeks in a row. It might be the 3rd penalty he's given away in attack this year in 4 games. Definitely the 2nd. So he knows. He knows. He's from as far away as I was at the ground, I could either see or sense that he knew what he did was wrong, and I'm sure the coach will talk to him about it. Jay says we got pretty dominated out there tonight. They tried to go through them, then around them and had nothing. It looked like the bombs were 10 to 20 meters short each time. Yeah. Some of those really long kicks were awesome in the first half, but didn't carry on, unfortunately. Tried to go through, then around. Yeah, that's fair, Jay. I agree with that. Just wasn't clicking tonight. They looked clunky in attack. The Dogs have very good defense. There's no doubting that. But we look clunky. So as good as the Dogs were, I'm not here to focus on them. I thought they did what they had to do. I didn't think they were amazing, but they were better than us, that's for sure. But Shake says, I need your positivity this week. I'm too pessimistic. A pessimistic Sharks fan? Get out of here. Get the hell out of here. I'll try and just be myself, my friend. And when it comes to this team, I like to keep it real, but also what I think's real, someone else may not. So I'll just do what I do, and I appreciate you guys and girls tuning in very much. Adrian says 1 word. Well, it's 2 words, my man, unless you got a hyphen in there. He said, and I'm going to use the only curse word of the night, might be the second one. He said shit show. The boys just did not deliver tonight and were outgamed by the Bulldogs. Yeah, you're right, man. You're right. Did I throw that one up? Little kids, look away from the swear word. Yeah. Completely. Like, I'm not backing down from that. They were, out wrestled. The Dogs of War thingy came into play and we didn't go with them. And maybe if we had 17 fit guys, maybe we go with them a bit more. I don't know. Can't have helped. Can't have hurt. We need someone like Fafita in our team again. We do have someone like Fafita in our team, and that is Vanilla Blake. Maybe we need more. Jay says definitely looked clunky. Everything the Dogs did stuck, but for us it didn't. Yeah, one of those nights. That's why I'm not in a ball at the moment on the floor. Appreciate if anyone is, but just disappointed. Disappointed with the performance, with the execution, effort. I didn't think that they didn't try or anything. Like, they were in it for a long part of the game. It just wasn't happening, and there were moments there when you thought it might, and it just didn't. And maybe some guys need to step up a bit more. Maybe it just wasn't their night. Need to rewatch it and check it out a bit more. So Scott's saying twice. Okay. And too many times, and I'm not going to be the one that tells him that, but other people are paid a lot more money to do that. So he'll be told, and he knows. He really does know. Adrian said this, which I'm not going to repeat because I'm not allowed to swear twice on the show. I think that's Adrian from Vegas. I think it is. Yeah, so early in the game, and I kind of looked away. I think I was looking at my friend Brendan Manahan and his beautiful little kid who were in the house, who sits just near me. I looked away, and then Kieran was having a meltdown. He was in a ball, and he said, Teague just played the ball to no one. And I went, what? And he also had a bad feeling from that moment. I personally told him to move on. It's let's move on. But it wasn't a good thing, and I'm sure it'll make a few highlight reels, which sucks. You don't want to be on those highlight reels. Sharkcast Pod, you know where to find us. We got a new website, sharkcast.com.au. Go check it out if you can. Kevin says we can never seem to gain momentum. We always find an error, which lets off all the pressure. Well, it did tonight. I don't know about always, but it definitely did tonight. Oh, I read that one out. I think I have. Sorry, Kevin. You're a ledge. We need to do better kick chase and support play, I feel. Well, usually the kick chase is awesome, dude. You know, like let's not hide behind that. Generally, like our kick chase is awesome. Just tonight, I mean, they were better at it for starters, and that's how it went down. But appreciate you tuning in, Kevin. If you don't follow us on the places you should follow us, please do so. On the podcast apps, on the YouTube, on the social medias. Now, speaking of people looking forward to the Canberra game, look who's here. Look who's here. One of the OGs. RCB says, do you think the depth is starting to show a bit? No Hazo, no Katoa, Iro, Hurt, etc. I think it's too early to tell. I don't think they lost tonight because Katoa wasn't there. I think he helps. I think at the moment I would have him ahead of Stoney, but I thought Stoney was not the problem tonight. There was a couple of defensive things. You're going to get that with him. We all know that. No Hazo. Yeah, Hazo would have been good out there. And I just think the coach probably thought that they weren't going to lose two guys tonight, and they did. We were down a 15-man bench, so we'll see what happens moving forward, RCB. But I think at the moment it's not really alarm bells, depending on the injuries, depending on what else is going on with Hazo, etc. Toby had a good return. I think he's found his spot, that impact guy off the bench, short, sharp bursts. Jay says we're better than that. It's disappointing, but it's also round 4, so I'm still positive. Probably a good reality check. We haven't beaten any teams of note and need to be better. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Who have we beaten? We beat the Cowboys away in South Tier. Yeah, that's fair. The teams we beat are not amazing. But we almost beat Penrith in Vegas. I know almost did, but we almost did. Tonight, I don't know. I completely understand the reality check comment, and I'm not running away from that. But I also don't know what happens if we beat Canberra next week and we look good. Like, then it's a hiccup, a bump in the road. I don't know. Like, I think it's too early for the reality check stuff, just because, like, yeah, Dogs are probably finals bound. They're top of the table. Maybe they'll be top 4. I've got no idea. Maybe they'll win the Minor Premiership. Maybe they'll win the comp. But I don't know. I think on a better night, we go with them. First half, I wasn't worried at all. I thought we got this. We can beat these guys. They lifted in the second half. It has to be noted. I agree with you here, about Ronnie RCB. He does try. He goes up for it. Got to give him that. But there is a bit of a pattern there sometimes. He tried hard tonight, Ronnie. Just wasn't his night, but he tried hard. Good question from Brett. One that's going round and round and round. Do you think Stoney's done enough to take Katoa's spot when he's fit again? Ooh. See, Brett, I think if Sione is fit and firing, if he plays a Jets game, like, it'd be good if we had a bye week and then he was fit and played in a Jets game and he was ready. I personally would go Sione, yes, if Sione was fit and like completely ready to play, and his match fitness was good and he was ready to catch a ball and run, like, yeah, I'd go Sione. But I think Stone Street's doing a good job, and I thought tonight he ran a lot better and got us some meters, and he's young, man, and it's what 11 games into the journey for him. So I I guess you need to answer your question. Good question here from Shake. I don't really know enough about this stuff sometimes, but I was thinking the same thing. If he failed his HIA, it might not be a SIF that you see in Canberra. We'll have to wait and see on that. We'll see what happens. Nikki says, was it raining torrential in Bundaberg tonight? No. It was there was a sprinkle coming into the ground at around 7 o'clock, and there was rain throughout the day, but the surface was pretty good, and conditions here were okay as far as I'm aware. I was sitting in the ivory tower, but my good friend Buck says one word: nope. I hear you, man. I hear you. Sharks lose 20 points to 6. Shout out to our friend Kieran who joined the stream a little while ago. J Brew 68 says we were looking for the soft options and got found out. Yeah, maybe. I don't know if I agree with that, but there was a soft underbelly I thought there tonight that hasn't been there for the past 3 weeks. Again, I didn't think it was a disaster. Just we were outplayed, and 15 players to 17's never really going to work for you. Thank you so much though for writing in. Adrian says to Michael a bit early, my thoughts the defense shape has changed. Somewhere we would gap. We didn't have a gap last year. Soft tries look easy. Yeah, I agree, Adrian. I thought that the tries they made the Bulldogs look like the Bulldogs of 1980 or something. Like I thought that the tries were very the try that was it the try Bronson scored in the first half, and I saw that coming. They had this shape about them. I don't know if you could see it on the TV coverage, but from the upper Andrew Eddinghouse, and you could see this shape, and it wasn't crazy shape, but it was a shape, and the Sharks just did not go with it, and they just scored this try, which looked like a 10 out of 10 try, but we sort of called it for happen, like, oh, here's some trouble. So again, good luck to them, but I'm with you, Adrian. I think they made them look a lot better than what they were. The big bros, they switched off like the old days before halftime. Yeah. Lewis has got some wise words, I think, because he's a pretty wise guy. He says Vegas hangover, some unlucky injuries, and a very good Bulldogs side. Yeah, that's you've nailed it, dude. I'm not sure what to make of it. I'm not sure what to make of it either. Definitely not good enough. We're not here to sugarcoat. Not here to talk up what's not being talked up. Like the better team won tonight, but first half there were a lot of good signs. Got to execute better. Cut out silly stuff. Don't play the ball to no one. Don't give away penalties in attack. Just little things. The little things the Dogs did, we didn't really seem to do. And here comes trouble. Here comes trouble with a capital T. PK. He said, I think our fans have the biggest hangover I know I have. Well, just sitting here thinking about Vegas, PK. What fun we had. For those who don't know, PK was the genius that pretty much owned a bar, took over a bar for Sharks fans. And we were drinking 2 for 1. We were getting cheap meals and having a good time. And PK, can't wait to see you down in Sydney. That's from Brett about Sione and Stoney. James says, rather have this loss now and calm the fluff down. Last year we got excited and got pelted by Penrith. Yeah, that's a way of looking at it, James. I don't like losing any games, so but I hear you. But I think, yeah, is it better to lose to a team that's hyped and game in the round? Is it better to lose that, or would you rather lose to? I don't know. I don't know. You don't want to lose, right? Silly question. David says, excuse my ignorance, I was the other end of the field. Why the person gets sent off in the end? Oh, they were just, there was a lot of foul play coming into the tackles, David, a lot of late grubby stuff. And I don't know exactly what happened there, but it was not good. And I think there'll be a few incidents out of this. We'll see tomorrow morning when the judiciary gets there. charge sheet out, but there was a lot of things. I mean, I'm sure I saw some of our guys swinging, and it's so it got a bit messy. Our good friend Adam says the Seven Nation Army sing along was the best part. Yeah, it was pretty cool. I was like, oh yeah, here we go. This is good. There was a vibe tonight, that's for sure. Like between our shark singing people and the dog singing people, a lot of singing, a lot of stuff going on. Good feel. There was a lot of security happening in the second half. I don't really know what happened, but hopefully it's all above board. But the general vibe was good. I walked in and walked past some Dogs fans and they were barking at me. So that was a new experience. There was nothing bad about it. They were just barking at me. Ben says, no dumping half of that first chance in attack. Definitely an off night. Yeah, I think it's a fair way to look at it. That doesn't really happen to a Craig Fitzgibbon coach team, and he's going to be, I think, not happy about that performance. I haven't seen the presser. You probably have, but not a good night for the Sharks NRL team, that's for sure. Losing 20-6 to the high-flying Bulldogs. You're going to have to hear about the Bulldogs for a bit more now, about the Dogs of War and da-da-da-da-da, and good luck to them. Go for it. We're not here to talk about that too much. Just going to head over to the Insta for a sec. Hello to everyone on the Insta. Hope you're doing well. We're going to turn this into a podcast, audio podcast. So we'll put this up everywhere, and you can watch it back if you missed any. But it'll be an audio podcast at some point. May not be tonight because tonight's looking pretty late. Roger says our attack in the red zone was not good. They seem to rush up. We don't have a game plan for this. Yeah, that's a good point. Short kicks in the end goal were not used with the same play each time. Yeah, that's yeah. You see the game, Roger. You see the game I see. Ben says, Reggie the Rabbit or Dogs fans? Oh, Reggie. What about that? What about that? It was a week ago where Reggie attacked one of our fans and he apologized for it. And I don't know what else to say about that. Brett was so annoyed he turned the game off. Who was sin binned? It was the fella from Canterbury who came from the Roosters, the second rower guy. You'll see it, I'm sure. Pretty sure it was him anyway. It was a little bit hazy towards the end. Hey, I'm going to get going, I think, because I got to go. But thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Really appreciate it. Sharkcast Pod, we're going to be doing the live streams as much as we can now. There's a bit more freedom to do that. So stay tuned after games if you like what we're doing here. We'll hopefully have guests throughout, and you can always join us via a link that we put up in the comments. But really appreciate your support. The pod's the pod. Really appreciate it. And give our sponsors a shout out. Our friends at Dyson Logistics, Jason Hawes at Crips and Crips, and the Royal Motor Yacht Club. And we might have some more coming on board, which is incredible as well. So stay tuned for that. Sharkcast Pod, we love you. We appreciate those of you that love us. If you're tuning in for the first time, there's a bunch of us that do this. I kind of lead the show, but you can find us on all the socials. You can find us on the YouTube. We have a website, sharkcast.com.au. We have merchandise on rugbyleaguemerch.com. We're out there and we're doing our best, and we appreciate you all very, 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 very much. And I'm just going to check over here one more time. Shep says, thanks, Sam. I say thanks to you, Shep, and thanks everyone else for tuning in. Appreciate it all. And yeah, we'll talk to you real soon. Got to get out of here. They're going to probably kick me out anyway. They'll turn the lights out and I'll have to sleep here, and it'll be like a dream come true, and no one wants that. Up, Cronulla. Not our night tonight. Sharks lose 20 points to 6. A lot to work on. Send us your thoughts. Send us more thoughts than you have tonight, which I really appreciate. But if you want the official mailbag, there it is, sharkcastpod@gmail.com, where you can DM us on most of the social medias, and also on our website, sharkcast.com.au. You can leave a voicemail. It's really easy. You'll work it out, and we'll play that voicemail on the show. Keep it as short as you can. Probably 30 seconds to a minute, but no more would be great. Anyway, I'm getting out of here. Thanks so much. Sharks lose. I'm so sorry that we lost. It's not my fault, but I'm really sorry. We're back. Thursday in Canberra. You'll be hearing from us a lot more and a lot more before that. So up Cronulla.